it's time, yes, it's 9:23 and it's time for Rupert's Royal Roundup.
Rupert's Royal Roundup.
Hello, Rupert.
Good morning, David.
How are you?
Good morning, and good morning, Renee.
Good morning.
I'm fighting fit, I am.
I'm delighted. So you're not riding a horse today?
No, I don't actually ride. I'm off to go and cover I'm off to quickly nip up to the Belfry for my other job for the other side, covering a golf tournament today.
A golf tournament.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm just up the road, and then I'm heading to Wimbledon tomorrow to start a few days at Wimbledon. So there we go.
Do you need a helper at Wimbledon?
Yeah, say hello to my brother-in-law who's directing the tennis there for television.
Oh well. Well, I'm doing radio, so he won't have to come across me.
Well, to be quite honest, when I went to Ascot, I didn't see you, so it's hardly like you'd see you at Wimbledon. Right, let's talk royals, shall we? This is a really interesting story about recollections may vary. That phrase that says so much.
Yes, well, it appears now that. The Princess of Wales, i.e. Kate, may have been very keen to ensure that phrase was put in the statement when it came out, around about all the racist issues and the Oprah interview. And, of course, it came on the Queen's statement that said recollections may vary. And the theory is behind it. Why Kate is allegedly so keen for it to have been put in this was because it actually was a way of rebutting some of the claims that were being made by Harry and Meghan and saying, if you don't do that, she would say, everything they put out would be accepted as being the truth. And so that was a sort of, and she was, by all accounts, determined to ensure that phrase was put in. And of course, it has been much used since, because it has been used to basically counter every claim that they are making, or Harry and Meghan have been making, against the royal family. And it's the nearest thing they have come out to a strongly worded statement with a view to what Harry and Meghan have been saying, and whether it be the book, the documentaries, or other things that they have done at times criticising the royal family.
I mean, it's a fantastic expression, actually, and it was attributed to the late Queen, obviously, and that may not be the case. I mean, it's a brilliant. I mean, if that was Kate, it's a fantastic commandeering of the English language.
I think it's one that will continue throughout the years. Actually,
you can say to your family, recollections may vary. Yeah.
And I think that's it. We all know there are always two sides to every argument.
Yeah, well, very true.
And so this is the point. And if the one side of it is not actually going out and counteracting it with interviews and putting themselves out there, which the royal family have said, well, it's the never explain, stay quiet, never explain, just let go. That was the nearest thing they had to saying something that, look, we got to. There is another side to what they're saying, and their truth is a very different one than
it's
the
just
royal family.
It's just so brilliant. It's so disarming. Actually,
it's the unspoken middle finger, really, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Isn't it?
That's one way of putting it.
I mean, she was brought up in the East End. I do apologise. What else have you got for us?
Well, I actually, given as doctors in the house, obviously Sarah Ferguson, I think we touched on it last week, but now it appears that she underwent an 8-hour operation. And I think, once again, what she's going to be able to use her position to highlight the significance of getting screened at any opportunity. Now, she's supposedly gone through an 8-hour operation and reconstruction surgery after the mastectomy, and obviously that takes its toll. It'll be a long... just after an operation like that, you are physically as you know, you're physically in an absolute wretched place, and it takes a long time. But I think, clearly the prognosis hopefully is all good going forward, but I think it does, once again, she is in a position to use her profile to make sure that everybody is in a position. But it's probably easier said than done, because again, it might come down to are there enough facilities for everybody? She may be in a better position. That obviously may have private or in a position to access that, and obviously had it done at the operation at the Edward VII Hospital.
I used to work there.
Yeah, some of the best surgeons around. So in a way, I think that it's out of bad comes a good news story, with the good news element is that Sarah Ferguson can actually be a force for good as far as helping women be aware of the.
And I think the interesting thing here, and I think probably the reason the surgery took so long, is that she had reconstruction at the time of the surgery, which is offered to all women. Not all women go for it. They sometimes go for later. Yeah, always.
Is it always offered now?
Yes, it's offered. And what they do at the time of surgery, which is quite amazing surgery, I've actually stood in on it, is they actually take some muscle and flesh from somewhere else, quite often down here, depends how much flesh you have around, and they actually channel up under the armpit and they put that into the skin of the existing breast. And it really
When you say channel up, how?
They literally go up here and under the armpit with the nerves and everything attached to that piece of muscle and skin.
So it's a flap?
It is. And it's really clever, but it takes a long time. It's complicated surgery. But it actually creates a very nice breast rather than just a mastectomy scar. And they try and do what's called a skin sparing mastectomy, where they take away the breast but leave the skin.
Clever.
So that this just goes inside your existing breast. It's really clever, but it takes a long time.
I mean, I think you're right, Rupert, though. This is... I think you're right in terms of being powerful and being, you know, and actually for the greater good, talking about these things. She was caught early. I mean, I was surprised, actually, she had a mastectomy and that it wasn't a lumpectomy, but obviously they made that decision. But I think she can do a lot of good, which is to say, look, I found a lump and I went and got sorted.
Well, I'm actually saying, and I'm not the doctor here, but reading it's saying shadows. Now, I'm out of... I'm a sports journalist, so now I'm really and a royal commentator. I'm in uncharted territory. I've got two people who actually probably know what they're talking about here. So it was something that wasn't the straightforward, but she was lucky enough that they got it.
It was a routine mammogram.
And it didn't look right, and then immediately had to deal with it because it was worse than they originally feared. But I think it is the important thing that people get out there and try and get their screened at any opportunity, because it's...
I think that's a really important point, and I think just so that women know, you'll be called for a mammogram when you're 50. In some places it starts at 47, and then if that's clear, you have one every 3 years until you're 70. After 70, you can ask for a mammogram whenever you want one, but if you have a lump, you just call your GP and they will refer you for one in between. But that's how the screening system works.
Great. Rupert, thank you very much indeed. Go and enjoy your sport, and then you'll be on firmer, safer ground.
And I'll see you at Wimbledon tomorrow when I turn up to be a helper.
I'll look forward. Text me and we'll have a meet-up.
I wouldn't bother. He didn't reply to me, so... Rupert, thank you very much indeed. That's Rupert Bell there.
Thank you.
Our sporting correspondent, who was clearly on very tricky ground there.
I know, but it's an important message. I know it turned Rupert's section into kind of a medical section, but it is an important story.
Indeed. So he's gone back to his job of being Talk Radio's royal correspondent, and that was, of course, Rupert's Royal Roundup.
Rupert's Royal Roundup.